Now in tonight's video, I want to talk about why finding a girlfriend is pretty much inevitable when you're retaining. You know, it's just basically nature taking its course. Now, before I get this one started, I want you to understand that if you're somebody who has been retaining for, let's say, 30 plus days, you're not a regular guy anymore. You're not a 99% guy. You're a fucking hard mode king. 99% of guys are cold approaching, tender swiping, porn hubbing, jack off boys. I know that sounds dehumanizing, but it's the truth. That's what most guys are. And if you're a guy that's retaining, you're ahead of the pack, man. You're a top 1% guy. So be proud of yourself and just accept it. You know, you are the energetic alpha. You're about to be the center of attention. Now, there will be a lot of doubters and naysayers, and that's because they're depleted coomers. They're sedated. They're not in touch with reality at all. They're living a perverted Hollywood porno version of reality. But you understand the way nature meant it to be. So, anyways, back to the topic of this video. Why a girlfriend is pretty much inevitable when you start retaining. Now, the majority of guys out there that aren't retaining, pretty much all of them, they are in a mindset where they chase women. Now, I know that sounds cliche and a lot of people use the term chasing women, but what I mean by this is they're actually chasing women because they want something from a woman, right? They want sex from a woman. They want a relationship from a woman. They want affection or attention from a woman. They want validation from a woman. So they're chasing women because they basically want to suck energy from the woman. They're like psychic vampires. You know, they're just trying to suck energy off of women. And that's not the way nature meant it to be. So these guys might get a little bit of luck every now and then because women don't know what a real man is actually like. They've never met a hard mode king like yourself. So they're used to that. So a lot of times they'll accept that. But you being a different guy, you're going to bring them something totally different. And this is the reason why you're going to be the energetic alpha of the room. It's not some supernatural, you know, pseudoscience. It's just you have a different energy now. You're different than the other guys. Your intentions are different. When you're retaining, you're actually trying to not sleep with women. You're actually trying to do your thing. You're actually trying to focus on yourself. You have bigger and better goals than getting laid and things like that. And your natural personality and your natural glow will start to show through. And this is why you'll find yourself entering rooms and you seem like you're the center of attention. This was never happening before you found retention, but now it's happening everywhere you go. You can't quite figure out why, but you just know that you're onto something. And nobody else is going to know what's different about you. They're not going to know what it is you've changed about yourself. It's not like you're going to tell them, hey, I just haven't busted a nut in a month. They aren't going to know. Nobody's going to ask. Nobody's going to know, but they're going to see something different about you. The men are going to be watching you. They might be envious. They might be jealous. They might be curious if there's something that you know that they don't. You know, maybe there's something that they can learn from you. So they're going to be watching you. And the women are going to be attracted to you. Some will be infatuated with you. But they're all going to be showing their attraction towards you. You know, they're going to be coming on to you. You may find yourself walking into a room full of 15 to 20 women, and it seems like every single one of them wants you. They're all sort of fighting for your attention. And when this is happening, again, when you're retaining and you're sort of in touch with nature, this might sound like pseudoscience, but it's almost like you develop a skill that you didn't have before. You can sort of scan the room. It's like you're on a mountaintop. Just, you can see everything. You can watch everything and observe everything. And in a split second, you can look around the room and, like I said, there's 15 to 20 women that want you. And you're just basically like, nope, not her, not her, not her. She's not the one. She's the one. That one right there. She's the one. You can just sense the energy, you know. There's just a connection between you and this one. And this is a connection that you probably wouldn't have recognized if you were still a depleted coomer, because you would have just hopped on the first woman that showed you attention. You wouldn't have seen the real intentions. You wouldn't have seen the real meaningful connection that you had with this specific woman. But when you're retaining, you're going to start to see this. If you're a guy who hasn't started retaining yet, this may sound like a foreign language to you. You may not quite understand it. But guys who have been retaining for 30 plus days, I would say, they're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about, and they're going to go through it. Now here's what you're going to go through next. Anytime you have a real meaningful connection, when you're a guy that's retaining, you're a guy that has the good milk and the pure seed, you glow. This is nature taking its course. You don't have to try to get something from the woman. That's not the way nature intended it. The woman is supposed to get something from you. Women want to have babies. So do men, but it's more of a internal subconscious desire that women have that men don't have. We view sex as something that's fun. Women view sex as it's like a reproductive process, right? They have a desire, they get baby fever, they have a desire to have children. And when you have the pure seed and the good milk, you glow, you're different than the other guys. They want something from you. It's natural, it's psychological. So they can't help but show their attraction to you, and they can't help but almost pursue you in a way. And that's the way nature intended it, because they're trying to suck something from you. You have this high vibrancy, this high energy, because you're fully loaded. You know, you've got the good milk. And again, she's going to be pursuing you. And women pursue a little different. They usually pursue with choosing signals. She might be a little shy. You know, she might just be smiling at you. And, you know, she's going to do little things to try to get your attention. And that's how women pursue. So eventually, the two of you are going to start communicating. You're going to have a connection with this woman. And what's going to happen is she's going to go into a system overload. All right? She's not used to something being this real. She's not used to this type of a relationship. She's going to have a full system overload. Women are driven by their emotions. So when their emotions go out of control, they totally lose control of the vehicle that they're living in, their body. They lose complete control. So she has no choice but to pull back. This is why the pullback phenomenon is something that depleted Coomers can't quite put their finger on. Women kind of understand, but they're unable to explain. And men who are retaining just naturally get it. So dating coaches, through trial and error, have decided that if you pursue a woman when she pulls away, you'll push her even further away. If you stay on your purpose, focus on self-improvement, and just kind of kick back and go no contact, a lot of times she'll come back. Now, they're not wrong about that, and that is a fairly effective strategy, but they don't quite understand why this is happening. When you're retaining, you'll understand why it's happening. Again, it's a system overload. She's falling in love with you. With this love is coming a series of depression and anxiety, fear of rejection, fear of intimacy. All these different emotions are hitting her at the same time, and she's a walking, talking anxiety attack. So she basically has no choice but to pull back. Now, when you are connected at the mind, it's almost like, let's get a little religious here. It's like you have built your connection on the rock of Jesus, so it won't be shaken when storms come. So when she pulls back, you're going to understand, okay, she came at me because she wanted me. She loves me, right? I've got this vibrancy, I got the good seed, I've got the good milk. That's why she came to me. She wants that. She wants what I have. And now that she's getting it, it's a little too much for her. Her brain can't quite compute it. She's a woman. They all go through this. It's natural. It's not that, it's not that she has a problem, that she's got some sort of an anxiety issue. She's just a woman, and they all go through this when they're falling in love. So you'll understand this. You're in tune with nature. So she's going to pull back, and you can kind of just sit back and smile when she pulls back, because you understand it doesn't matter if she pulls back 1,000 miles, if she pulls back 20,000 miles, if she pulls back around the world 25 million times, that connection is never going to break, because that connection was built on the rock, and that connection was genuine, right? She actually desires being with you, and she just needs a little space to collect herself. And sometimes giving a woman space is the ultimate type of support. When your woman is freaking out, when she's going crazy like that, sometimes it's okay to be there with her to support her, but you have to be able to read, and when you retain, you'll be able to read this. You're going to be in tune with nature. But other times, the type of support that you need to show her is through space, right? Maybe you should be in the other room. Maybe you need to be in a different city. Maybe she needs an hour away from you. Maybe you need a couple of days apart. Who knows? But when a woman needs space, she needs space because she's about to break the fuck down. And when you're retaining, you're going to understand this. You're going to go through this process because every relationship has to go through this process. And most guys are unable to get through this process. But when you retain, you'll be able to. And eventually she's going to come back and you can sit there. You've still got that smile on your face. You can relax and you can understand that, yes, this relationship is built on the rock. You're doing things the right way now. You know, you're doing things the pure way. You don't have to rely on tactics and game and strategy because you have a deeper understanding of what's going on. And she is going to come back because she wants that energy. She remembers what that feeling was like. She remembers what type of a relationship and a vibe you guys have. She remembers why she liked you so much to begin with. She remembers how you glow, how you got the good seeds, how she wants to settle down and start a family with you. That stuff's not going to just exit her mind. It's still all in there. And when you retain, when you're a hard mode king, this type of shit is just going to be easy. You're going to understand this. It's not even going to be a challenge to you. And that's why you're going to find a girlfriend when you retain.